G'day guys, welcome to the first ever episode of Bushfed. In this episode, our primary goal is to tell you what to expect from this channel and what we're going to be, specialising in our content, but as well as, a background story on where we came from to get to this point of owning this beautiful block of land. Now, if you see the camera moving a fair bit unexpectedly, don't worry, it's not haunted. I've just got two goats that are sniffing around it at the moment, chewing on the tripod, and wondering really, I think, what's going on. Anyway, what can you expect from Bushfed? What is Bushfed about? Bushfed is going to take you on a journey of information on how to grow your own produce and become slightly more self-sufficient than what you would need to be if you were living in the suburbs, having to buy your produce from shops or whatever. Now keep in mind, here's Evie. A lot of what we teach you on this particular channel is very applicable to urban living as well, especially if you've got a small, garden beds in your backyard or whatever. It can all be used and it's all relevant. So keep that in mind. So we'll be teaching you, problems and solutions in short format that is easy to follow. So we probably want to try and keep videos, under the 5-minute mark where we can, so you can get the answers you need to your problems in your gardening sector very quick. Right, where did we come from? Well, look, growing up, we spent a lot of time out bush. My old boy owned a holiday house up in a coastal place called Wedge Island in Western Australia here. Now, Wedge Island is essentially a little crayfishing community full of squatters' shacks, if you wish, which is full of, as I said, cray fishermen and prime fishing. So of course I grew up fishing and I've become what I believe a very competent fisherman. Now that is also going to play out in this channel as well when I teach you how to process fish, keep fish and so forth, and give you some tips and techniques. Above all else, as we grew up in Perth when we weren't at the holiday house, but I always longed for that little bit of extra land. Now I met my wife who also grew up in a place called Busselton. So she loved the outback as well, or bush rural sort of living. After living in a place called Butler for a fair while when we bought our first ever house, we realised very quick that living wall to wall with other people simply wasn't for us. Not only was it difficult to have a conversation without everyone listening in, but it was very difficult for us to store the boat and store everything else. So we got on the search and we found this magical 5-acre block for only $110,000. That's right, $110,000 for 5 acres. Since then, we have built our house on here. We've built a shed. We've got all our farming equipment that we need. Now, when we say farming equipment, our farming equipment is a lot smaller than most people would expect. No tractors or anything like that. We've got quad bikes with tow-behind disc plows and all sorts of that kind of stuff, which we're going to do fantastic reviews on for you as well, in case you need to make an educated decision on your next purchase. But most importantly, it meant that my kids could ride their motorbikes around and actually have a healthy upbringing rather than be stuck on iPads. We've also got place to store everything, as I just said, so the boat's in fantastic storage facility now here, and most importantly, I've still got the water just down the road, only about 25 minutes away, where I can go catch jewfish and snapper. So from that perspective, it's fantastic. We have planned to stay here for a very long time now. Of course, we've set up our chicken run. We've got our own chickens, which produce our own fresh eggs. We've got our own goats, which are pets. They're little dwarf goats, which is fantastic. They're a whole heap of fun. Don't get up to as much mischief as some of the bigger goats that will jump fences and whatnot. These guys are really quite content, apart from them nibbling on the tripod as we speak and adjusting angles. Thanks, guys. But most importantly, as I said at the start, we've started creating ourselves a self-sufficient way of living, whereas even our veggie patches now are at a point where we can pretty much get all our salads out of it for dinner that night. And I reckon that's pretty spectacular. Hold on, let me get this tripod. Whoop. The goats are having an absolute hoot of a time. So yeah, anyway, that's a quick rundown on who we are, what we're about. From time to time, I'm hoping you're going to see my wife Tika involved, because she is an absolute gun. Well, that's a goat's nose, by the way. That's just came into frame. That was a goat's nose. And as you can see on this farm, nothing goes to plan, okay? So nothing's tame. Everyone just has a good time. The goats now are headbutting the camera. But as I said, that's a quick rundown of what's going on, as unpolished as that was. But in future episodes, look forward to gardening tips, reviews of all mannerisms of farming stuff, and the crooked camera most of the time. Anyway, guys, I look forward to bringing you the content that hopefully you're going to love and enjoy, and hopefully you can like and subscribe down the bottom if you do enjoy our content. Anyway, thanks very much for tuning in to our first ever episode where we explained a little bit about us and what this channel is going to be about. See you on the next one.